Good evening, friends. Today we have Dr. Jyoti back with us. Welcome, Jyoti ji.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
How are you
th-
doing, Meena
fine.
ji?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jyoti. And I'm looking forward to tonight's session, which is about the goodness of millets, and
Great.
it's something that Modi ji has been promoting as well. So, friends, one thing we need to do is change our habits and start including you know uh, things like millets, which are a good source of protein, fiber, key vitamins, and minerals. And it's also rich in niacin, which helps your body manage more than 400 enzyme reactions, which is also important for healthy skin and organ. The number of things that it is good for, including health and weight management. So it's over to Dr. Jyoti, and it's going to be a very interesting session, friends. And it's going to be interactive. All of you can ask questions with regards to the kind of changes that you can make in your diet, because we've been so used to eating wheat and rice that these are changes that we'll need to make consciously. Yeah, back to you, Dr. Jyoti.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to come on your show because I just love your name, Meena
Thank you.
ji. And then
Thank
we add candid to it, which
you.
means let's bare our souls. And
Yes.
that's exactly why I'm here today as a nutritionist,
Yeah.
as a food process technologist,
Yes.
and so on. I just want to tell you a little bit of, uh, you know, uh, statistics, and you yourself will be amazed. I have started calling this kind of interaction
Yeah.
uh, magic of millets.
Yes.
And this is my 27th deliberation from the
Okay.
beginning of this year.
Very
So,
nice.
in order to put things on board and place it in front of already learned audiences, I would like to take you a little back to school, and then I would like you to go back even in the history of our country. As is an agrarian country, we have learned from school days that India lives in the villages and farms and so on. 100% true. Now, societal network and societal connections are such that unless we connect with backward integration, things are not going to work out. And under Modi Sahib's, whole concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat,
Yes.
the whole concept is Atmanirbhar or self-reliance will come when we do what is known as a plot to plaza connect. What we grow in our backyard. Maya ma'am is here. Namaste, Maya ma'am. And you will be interested to know that what we grow in our backyard is what we should eat,
Yes.
because as biochemists we always say that population genetics says that we are capable of assimilating, utilizing, and we are best suited actually to what is grown in our backyard, climatically, environmentally, and so on. Now, under that purview, even before the pandemic, in 2016, the UN had declared it as the year of lentils.
Yes.
And Bharatvarsh woke up to a beautiful realization. The common man understood that we have 77 dals
Yeah.
in our own country.
Okay.
So if you do your maths, you begin cooking one dal, and 2.5 months
Two.
later, then it will come as a turn. And we
Yeah.
being, kings of Jugaad, you will
Yeah.
have mixtures and composites and so on. So, under the purview of WHO, in the wake of this whole concept of agrarian integration,
Yeah.
we as a country had put in an application that we would like millets to be showcased.
Okay.
The application was put in around 2021, around March. And you will be interested to know that lots happened in between. And finally, the UN agreed and decided that let us absolutely make this as IYOM, International Year of the Millets. Now, I being what I am, I made that acronym into something every Indian will understand. I is for me, Y is for you, and Om is our universal sound.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
IOM is the International Year of the Millets,
Mm.
and suddenly everyone understands what is this magic kind of crop.
Yeah.
It's a grass, it's a grain. And linguistically, Minaji, sometimes we use very wrong uh, annotations.
Yes.
The annotations are that in Indian languages we call it bhari anaj.
Mm.
In Marathi we call it zard anna.
Mm.
Now the word zard does not mean difficult to digest. But the man on the street feels, Are Bapre, if you have
Oh. Mhm.
millets, you are not going to be able to digest it. And no
Yeah.
one corrected him.
Yeah.
And today we know that
Mm.
bhari anaj or zard anna means nutritionally intense.
Mm.
Absolutely less amount can be consumed,
Mm.
and it is suitable and beneficial in a very, very large manner.
Mm.
So I cannot even begin telling you that Vedic food practices
Mm.
always spoke of various kinds of millets. In Sanskrit, there is a word called shida. Shida
Mm.
means the grains cooked, uncooked, which is given to a traveler when he goes on a
Mm.
pilgrimage, when he goes for a journey. And you will be amazed to know that even in that, all kinds of millets were put.
Yeah.
And in Marathi, again, because it is the local language of Maharashtra, I'll just add, if you want to invite someone for dinner, they will say, Yun bhakar khaunza. Bhakar means a roti like preparation made of millets.
Yeah.
And
So
we
here,
have,
I'll just make a small interjection, Dr. Jyoti. When I was a kid,
right,
our neighbors were Maharashtrians, and
correct,
yeah, and they were Maharashtrians. So, whenever I used to, as a kid, I used to go to their house. They would always make me share their food. You know, and
right,
they used to give me these bakri chapatis.
yes,
And I used to really relish it because in South India we do not make bajra rotis, and
correct. And the
really
interest,
the taste. Yes,
yeah. The interesting thing is that even in our Vedic tradition, in fasting, this is very much allowed. In fasting, uh, ragi preparations may not be allowed, but definitely we have a millet which we commonly call vari,
yeah,
and that is used for all kinds of preparation.
okay,
Rajgira is commonly used for all preparation.
yes,
So
yes,
millets are loaded with antioxidants, vitamins, micronutrients, minerals, easy to cook, easy to digest. What in our subject we say pediatric to geriatric.
okay.
People who I have read Asha ji writing something about cancer patients and all.
Yeah,
You see, as clinicians, there is a big challenge because today we view disease management holistically.
yeah,
And when we view disease management holistically, we talk of the whole idea that before the episode, during the episode of treatment, and after the episode. And when you are talking of all three,
yeah,
then definitely millets becomes a very, very emphatic component of the diet.
yeah,
You can make sattva, that means soup like things. You can make various kinds of khichadis. You can make all the modern things.
yeah.
See, I'm
So
connected to the Institute of Research on Millets,
yeah,
and we have brought it to the forefront how to cook contemporary recipes.
yeah.
I've
So
made a
what I'd
millet.
like to, yeah, what I'd like to ask you here is that, see, since I think a lot of our viewers are not so aware of, what to make out of it,
Yes,
what is a kind of food. So suppose you
correct.
were to suggest a menu, from morning to evening, could you suggest something that, can be used like breakfast, lunch, tea and dinner?
Absolutely.
Mm.
I would be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Let us begin in the morning.
Mm.
And I will take you in a journey
Mm.
of India also as we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And don't worry about is it available locally.
Mm,
Today, India is an integrated country.
mm,
So everything is available everywhere. Dosa is a national dish, no longer
yeah.
South Indian dish. So we begin with millet dosa.
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Mm,
Monday to Saturday, you can make millet dosa. Sunday morning for breakfast, you can make millet dhokla.
mm. With
Directly, you've
which
got
millets?
dhokla.
Because now there are so many, like foxtail millet, so you can tell us like what.
Yes, yes, everything I'll tell you. Don't worry. So now, having said that, I'm actually going to read out a list for you
Mm,
so that
mm,
you will be very, very comfortable. See that I've come with homework
mhm.
and worked it out from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have what is commonly called pearl millet, the easiest one, bajra. You can use the flour
Mm,
and you can grind it at home.
mm.
You know why it's called millet? The et, like we use in English language, pig and piglet.
Yeah.
So millet means something which you mill in small
Okay.
quantities at home in the home grinder.
Okay.
So we used to have the traditional chakki, and our housewives used to wonderfully do that, and they used to be healthy and fit because they were generating very fresh things, and their back and spinal cord and all was getting exercise. That's the amusing part.
Mm,
Then we have sorghum,
mm,
commonly called Milo,
mm,
and we call it jawar.
mm.
Jawar is a wonderful, easy to digest, lovely color, Now we are all Homo sapiens, so we have this absolute thing that Are Bapre, it should look nice also. So these are all very benign things,
Mm,
Meena ji. You can add wonderful components into it, like spring onions,
mm,
carrots,
mm,
beetroot, so on. Amuse the child whom you're giving it in a tiffin, that
mm,
kind of thing, and you can make a dosa.
mm,
Then we go to 11 o'clock.
mm,
At 11 o'clock, you can conveniently make a small nachni laddu
mm,
or with jaggery.
mm.
Have it high satiety,
Now, when you say nachni
good for
laddu, what is
diabetes.
it made of?
Nachni is known as finger millet.
Finger millet. Okay.
Finger millet, yeah. Then there is a grayish grain
Mm,
called rala. Rala means foxtail millet.
mm,
That foxtail millet, if you grind coarsely,
mm.
you can make a kind of khichdi with vegetables and lentils and any other flavorants that you want.
Yeah.
Then you have the most wonderful thing, and that is Rajgira. I just saw Maya ma'am saying you can make chikki with it. So
Mm.
it's a convenience food. And Maya ma'am said that she prefers dosa of ragi and so on. Today, people are venturing into chocolates also. We're
Yes.
using these flours. It's a base
Yes.
point. So you can go into that. And at night, very conveniently, you can have Sama Varai, which is the barnyard millet.
Mm.
I challenge you that morning to evening, if this is one menu,
What is
you
the
can
last one
go.
you mentioned? The last one that you mentioned
I
for
said
dinner?
Sama, Sama,
Okay.
or Varai, that is the Indian name,
Okay.
and barnyard millet. Barnyard.
But what do you do with that?
You can wonderfully make a kind of upma with it.
Okay. Okay.
Easy to digest,
Mm,
easy to digest. You can put potatoes in it to
mm,
increase
mm.
manganese and all, which it may
Yeah.
fall short of a little bit. You may
Mm,
put peanuts in it. We
mm.
commonly make it for our fasting,
Okay. Okay.
and the accompaniment is a flavored chas or curd.
Mm.
So that could be your dinner.
Yeah.
And you still have the kodo millet, which is available. With
Mm.
that also, you can make all these dishes.
Yes.
You can make appam, you can make appe, you can make uttapam, you can make
Yeah.
idli.
Yeah.
Hmm. You can make satwa. Satwa
Yeah.
means those people who have dentition problems, their challenge, or even teething babies, on the
mm,
other side of the
mm,
spectrum.
mm.
You can conveniently have that also,
Yeah.
and you can proceed from there.
Yes.
And each one is available. It is very amenable to grinding, to flavors, to introduction of all additives. Today we have millet noodles.
Mm,
There is a company, I'm a consultant, that
mm,
I'm
mm.
working with them. I don't want to use brands, but I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Mm,
they're venturing into noodles and spaghetti and
mm,
pasta and penne and all.
mm,
Wonderful.
mm,
And no young child would have any objection,
mm.
because the look is exactly like what would be for a wheat or a maida kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you
Also,
can
I
make
think
a
there are,
lot of
yeah.
semolina out
Also,
of it.
yeah. Also, two other points I think very important is that they use very less water and can
Yes,
stand very high temperatures, so which makes it
absolutely.
very, very, viable to grow it also.
Absolutely, they are hardy. I
Mm.
said so. They are survivors. That is why that bhari anaj, bhari means
Yeah,
that
yeah,
which can take the environmental stress of all kinds.
yeah.
See, lot of studies, Minaji, under the International Year of the Millets is being done in the genomics also,
Yes,
in the lab also.
yeah,
And scientists are totally surprised
yeah,
that you can have grains which withstand everything so well. So
yeah.
well. Yes,
That is why I think it's called grain of the future.
absolutely. It's called Nutri
Yeah,
Cereal.
yes,
That is the title given
yeah,
under this whole magic of millets,
yeah.
that it's full of nutrition,
Mm,
and it's a cereal, so you
mm.
can substitute, because they are gluten free.
Yes,
They're friendly to diabetes. They're wonderful in weight management.
yeah. So, could you
They
talk
are
about weight
tasty.
management? How is
Hmm.
it good for weight management?
See, I don't want to crowd you with biochemistry, but I will tell you just two things. Small amount of consumption will give you high amount of satiety,
Okay.
mental
Mm.
satisfaction. The word is sometimes wrongly pronounced as satiety. The real
Yeah.
word is satiety for satisfaction.
Okay. Okay.
And the second is, it is so amenable
Mm,
to absorption, to all kinds of utilization at cell level,
mm.
that it is wonderful for the liver health,
Yeah.
for all kinds of digestive functions,
Okay.
and the hormone friendly kind of grain.
So, why do you think for so many years we've ignored this?
I knew you were going to ask me this question, and I'm scared now to give the answer. But I am going to be ethical, and I'll be frank. We were governed by many, many, many other people, and when they came to India, they were vile, and they were quite clear in understanding that we have two standpoints as a country which they are up against.
Mm,
One is our education and ancient wisdom,
mm.
and second is our wonderful connection of that wisdom to day living today, what we call lifestyle.
Yeah.
So they decided that it's a very good idea to demolish both. I'm not going politically, but that's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
And therefore, they went about it in a very clever way.
Mm,
And they actually went ahead to start marketing things which were not even native to India.
mm,
There are reports that 3 to 6,000 years ago we have Vedic, proof that these millets were grown here. They are hardy grains, and we were consuming them. There
mm,
was hardly any rheumatoid arthritis. There were no problems about depression, and so on and so forth. And then suddenly wheat came.
mm,
Then we wanted it to become smarter and whiter, and so on. Then we went into fast food and junk food on this very revered platform of Candid Meena.
mm,
I had the absolute pleasure of talking about junk food and how we have to pull out our young people from that. Young and young at heart, both.
mm.
And then what happened? It is a simple case that You are willing to drink turmeric latte, but good old haldi ka doodh you don't want, which you are getting at home, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
So the millets were forgotten in the interim time due to indifference governance too from our
Mm,
side.
mm,
The gems which were there were not recognized by us.
mm.
And then came along the present governance, and of course, things are so different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this
Also,
is
I think,
as, uncontroversial as I can get,
yeah.
please.
Also, I think, see, during times of famine, I mean, millets are going to be our strength,
Yes.
isn't it?
Absolutely. And I so like the thoughtful inroad that you have made in this discussion.
Mm,
See, today life is so good. We are on the Chandrayaan, our country is shining. We are big time. We are
mm,
on the
mm,
crest of crests.
mm.
But eventualities, climatic irregularities in a vast country like us, we have to take into account and keep it into account. So, cultivation of native grains, usage of native grains when things are on the other side of midnight
Mm.
is definitely what we have to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And millets will stand the good stead. That is
Yeah.
why, in this, today is now 1st of September, already we are in the ninth month.
Mm.
And people are, saying, who are involved in this whole millet concept, अरे 3 ही महीने बाकी है. But at least we have grown the seed, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
And who says we have to stop at 2023? We can continue.
Okay.
The knowledge, wisdom, enlightenment can continue. So, when you are talking of different projects, one of the great things in these projects is you are teaching newer cultivation practices also to the
Yeah.
farmers. You are telling them the logistics of technology
Yeah.
and the use of it.
Yeah.
You are telling them the movement from farm to fork,
Yeah.
because food has a curse, Meena
Mm,
ji.
mm.
It's perishable.
Yeah.
No use growing a huge amount of millets and then having no buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a kind of pipeline where the farmer grows and we are conveniently moving it forward and using it.
Yeah.
Right.
Another, sort of a practical problem, that women or men face when they do cooking, is that, with millets, these are just things that I want to talk to about, with the viewers, is that, when you sort of make chapatis with, jowar, or with, something like bajra, it's very difficult to roll it out like chapatis, because atta and maida and all are a little bit more pliable, so it's very easy to make chapatis. So it's sometimes it's the difficulty of rolling these things out, and the chapatis not breaking, that people find a little bit of a irritation in.
Okay, so I'll just tell you, I always laugh and say, and I said it even, yeah, I do say it in my lectures too, that the kitchen is a lab.
Yeah.
Every day, the housewife has to undertake a newer experiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today, using a jawar, you can make a kind of chapati without rolling. You
Mm.
make a thin liquid batter and just pour it as if it's a dosa without fermenting.
Okay.
And regarding making of bhakri,
Mm.
I challenge that when you began cooking, you didn't know na, how to make
Yeah. Yeah.
chapatis.
Yes.
They were the maps of all the countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And each of us have got scolding from our mothers,
Yeah.
and we were a
Yeah.
bit ashamed at the irregularity.
Uh,
So once you think and just take it on yourself,
mm,
then definitely the techniques are available to make chapatis. I am a left hander. I make chapatis with my left hand. No problem.
mm.
And remember the good news, housewives, and we all are housewives on the show. Satiety is high, so number of chapatis to be made is will be less. So number of
Okay.
bhakris to be made will be less.
Will be.
Otherwise, we make fulkas and they may be
Yeah.
five,
Exactly.
whatever number.
Yeah.
I'm not numbering them. The
So
gents in the show
Ashu,
will get,
Ashu has a
flabbergasted.
question for
Yeah,
you. Hope safe
but
and healthy millet noodles are available.
Absolutely, they are hitting, and through my good premises with Meenaji, I will give the brand
Yes,
which now is showcasing.
yeah. Maya says in coming
Absolutely,
years, where world is going to face food shortage, our government is
yes,
really showing foresight in promoting millets, which are arid crops,
arid
disease
crops.
resistant. Yeah, making
Yes,
Bharat sufficient.
100%. And we have a center for arid crops research near Hyderabad, and we can conveniently, understand very great, exciting research being done there.
Is it
Very
possible,
cus-
Dr. Jyoti, that millets can be grown in your backyard?
to an extent,
Mm,
smaller, plots can be used.
yeah.
See, how many of us are growing rice in our backyard?
Mm,
So
mm,
let us be fair.
mm,
You can have societal communities.
mm,
My ancestral home is at Nasik.
mm,
Such kind of impediments are being done out there,
mm,
endeavors are being undertaken.
mm.
1 acre plots are also being taken,
Yeah, yeah.
and we are growing, and then you divide the
Yes,
logistics in a particular manner. So it is urbanization in a rural manner and ruralization in an urban manner.
yeah. So the Prime Minister is right in his thinking that millets are the future of
Yes,
tomorrow. Yeah, we should.
absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah. So tell us something more about millets. See, in Karnataka, the people have been rather healthy because they've had these ragi balls,
Yes,
muddas they call them,
mudde,
ragi muddas.
yeah,
Yeah,
mudde,
mudde.
because
Yes,
I'm
yes,
partly Kannadi, so we call it mudde. And
yes,
wonderful thing is, it is steamed.
yes.
It is steamed. So you just make as many as you need.
Yeah,
You roll the atta, or the mudde. The word
yeah.
mudda means a heap,
Mm,
as much as you want. Then you put it along with jaggery, you put it along with any salted
mm.
thetsa kind of thing, and you consume it. So it works in that manner. Minaji, I've lost you.
Yeah, sorry, Jyoti ji, some sort of a glitch here. Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't matter, please.
What I want to ask you here in your ragi, as you call it, mudde, isn't it? Ragi mudde.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that, see, I've tasted it and I found it a little insipid. So how can you make it a little bit more,
See,
tasty?
there are two, three things.
Yeah.
What is the good thing of the color white?
Mm,
Suppose we say,
mm,
as ladies,
mm.
you can match it with anything.
Yeah.
So, what is the good thing of a grain, a flour, a preparation
Mm,
which has no native taste
mm.
of its own, but
Yeah.
just a cooked taste?
Mm,
You can add a dal to it, you can add vegetables to it,
mm,
you can add a flavor to it,
mm.
you can turn it around, and it's elastic, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So usually in our Karnataka, there are two kinds of
Mm,
muddes.
mm.
You can even have it with something modern like palak paneer.
Okay.
Imagine having mudde and palak paneer. Wow. I did that some days back, and my family received it very well.
Okay.
They got the nice
So what
smells
what
of
is it?
palak paneer.
Yeah. What is it basically that you add to the mudde
See,
to make it
the
up?
first thing you have to understand is a little bit of food chemistry. Millets do not have gluten, which is, don't bother about the biochemistry, but it's a
Yeah. Yeah.
protein which kind of generates elasticity.
Yeah.
So
As in
you have
maida
to
and
generate
atta.
some elasticity of binding.
Mm,
Either you do it by adding more, that means hot oil, or we add ghee. We don't
mm,
add oil also.
mm.
A little bit of salt, and you make a kind of paste of it as much as you want, how thick
Okay.
you want.
Mm,
And the whole thing is done with hot water.
okay.
The moment you do it with hot water, initially you stir it around on the gas or
Mm,
chula
mm,
or whatever you're cooking it,
mm.
till it becomes a kind of gel.
Yeah.
Then you take it out in a parat and you allow it to cool till it is comfortable for you to
Yes.
knead,
Mm,
and then you proceed. And then
Great.
you've got it right. See,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you've got it right. If you
Nice.
would like to come home for dinner, I'm making bhakri today also.
Thank you.
Everything is ready except bhakri, because bhakri is
Yeah.
eaten hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you
And
have a
see the
wonderful
beauty.
doctor like Jyoti who is good at everything that she does.
How sweet of you to say that. And I will add here, look at our Vedic practices.
Ah,
We have, even in our, nutritional
mm, mm.
classification, we have something known as something called RDA, recommended
Okay.
daily allowance.
Okay.
We have never vouched for exclusion diets.
Mm,
So on the bhakri we put til or
mm,
white sesame
mm,
seeds,
mm, mm,
which are also native to our
mm. Yes. Yes.
province or our state.
Yeah.
And therefore that supplies sufficient essential fatty acids which are there in your diet.
Yeah.
And then you drizzle good homemade ghee and life is made.
Yeah.
And
Also, Jyoti ji, see, we are a society that thinks of good things as any whenever good news comes, muh mitha karo. So with millets, what kind of sweets can be made?
you can make all sweets. I've personally, like I said, I have made satwa. Satwa means a kind of porridge. I mean, very anglicized word, but that's what it is. You can make it with coconut milk, like a payasam.
Mm.
In fact, we celebrate Onam too, and
Yeah.
therefore we make small naivedyam.
Yeah.
And one of the naivedyam was use of ragi with coconut milk.
Yeah.
And you can make wonderful barfi,
Yeah.
you can make laddu,
Yeah.
you can make something like a jalebi, a sweet chakli.
Mm.
You can make whatever you want,
This is
no
all with
problem.
sorghum. Sorghum.
Yeah, and innovation is in your hand.
Yeah.
Your
Absolutely.
imagination is as
Mm.
huge as you
Mm.
can make it.
Yeah. So friends, what we basically need to do is shift from sugar to jaggery, which
Yes,
is much more friendly, and so you
correct.
don't need to deny yourself that sweet tooth, urge. Yeah, yeah. So
Thank
Maya
you.
says, yeah, Maya says recently came across handwa recipe using
Handwa yes, yes.
millet flour, which makes very good spicy
Spicy
cakes.
cakes. Handwo is a kind of multi-grain, single meal kind of thing. One more thing, Meena ji, you can make wonderful one dish meals with
Okay,
millets.
okay,
You can make khichdis, you can make thali peet, you can
yeah,
make handwo,
yeah,
and it comes out like a pizza,
yeah,
and you can cut it so
yeah,
children feel very good, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all a matter of habit and changing your eating practices. I'll just tell you a
Yes,
small example. See, for example, when we were facing in the time of the Maharajas in Kerala, when we were facing rice shortage, what the Maharaja did was he had been to Africa, so he brought in tapioca, and he said you can make it tapioca flour, and you can
yes,
boil it and you can steam it and eat it with coconut. And that's how today if you ask any Keralite, I mean they can't they think of tapioca as a delicacy.
correct.
They steam it and they eat it. So you can make changes in your life very easily if you know that
Yes,
there is a health reason to it.
absolutely. A little, interesting thing for you, because your show is always interesting. So I'm trying to, go along with that ethos. Are you aware that sambar was first invented by Sambhaji for his soldiers in Tanjavur? Because
No,
they
no,
were
I
so
wasn't.
fed up
Yeah.
of,
Uh,
the local food, that
uh,
they
uh,
said that we cannot fight anymore.
yeah.
And it is well known. And he said, let us do something. And in us, dal or kutan, or that thing is called, amti.
Yeah.
So
Empty.
he put together all the local vegetables and everything, and rest is history. Today sambar is again a national food.
Yes. And the funny thing is, Dr. Jyoti, is that, see, I'm so finicky about sambar. So when I'm
Yes,
cooking sambar, I don't move away from it.
correct,
to get the right, imli in it, the right, salt, a little bit of jaggery in it, and it should
correct.
be absolutely mashed well, and with the right vegetables. It's only then that you get the right sambar. So anything
Absolutely
with a lot of love and attention, makes your Indian food absolutely tasty.
correct. And I can give you a complete meal using millets. One more
Hmm.
thought came to my mind.
Yeah.
You can make a kadhi out of jawar ka atta,
Okay.
out of bajre ka atta.
Hmm.
Instead
Hmm.
of besan, you use
Hmm.
jawar ka atta or
Hmm.
bajre ka atta. I have done
Hmm.
it. I
Hmm.
regularly do it.
Hmm.
And you can make a khichdi out of some other millet.
Yeah.
So now here you have a double whammy.
Yeah.
You have
See, the
both.
problem, Dr. Jyoti, is that, see, we are so used to being influenced by the West. Okay, so they say quinoa, you pronounce it as quinoa, isn't it? Quinoa,
Yes,
and
quinoa.
everybody's eating that, even though it's so expensive. Why do you go for all that when you have alternatives in India
100%.
itself?
Clever marketing. Maya ma'am knows this story, so she will endorse.
Yeah.
See, when I was head at one
Hmm.
of our very prestigious colleges,
Hmm.
we used to have these competitions for our students because
Yeah.
mine was the only center of food science
Hmm.
along with biochemistry.
Hmm.
So they came on and they said, ma'am, in this competition, your students will be required to make recipes, but only the limitation is they have to use quinoa,
Ah,
and we will give the quinoa and that has to be used.
yeah.
So I said, sorry, quinoa will not be used in my lab
Yeah.
because I have traveled to Mexico and quinoa is cattle food out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
And we
cattle.
treat it like royal food.
Yes. And your clever marketing says, wow, it's fashionable. And then
Yeah,
you put
absolutely.
yourself on Facebook and
Mm,
Instagram and all. That's
mm,
not done.
yeah.
That is why, yeah, the millet ambassadors chosen,
Mm,
Meena ji,
mm,
are not only scientists and knowledgeable people and researchers. I hope I can fall in that category, but even well known personalities
okay.
who
Okay.
freely endorse
Mm,
that yes, we are now very much aware, we are enlightened, and we are using all this in our day to day cuisine.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I think
So
with that we can end this show,
yes,
Jyoti ji.
and
We
I
have
would
another
like
show.
to,
Yeah.
conclude by saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I for myself, Y for you, and Om for the central sound.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
IYOM, International Year of the Millets.
Yeah.
It's
Thank you
been a
so much,
pleasure.
Dr. Jyoti.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
And
Thank you.
my privilege entirely.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Jai Hind.